A good evening, everybody. A little bit later today with both time. Um, hey, well, what happened this week actually? And how you can use some simple design guides. Fine. Self creating design directly to called breaks, green shift, or with Elementor. That a lot as well. Same goes for Webflow, framework design as well. But I do highly if you website design or even try out design to like Figma. And the reason why is have go in some design there free to use down comments below or in have um but if you would like to see my um principle, basic principle design grid, if you would like to live stream, it, I what we high level go over how you guideline great grid. This makes it great grids grid. We 6 point very bad sound. A little bit. Does that make it better? Thank you. I pronounce your name right. Up. There are a lot of bells and whistles I can turn to see if the sound is better. Please let me know if it's better or not. I always try out the recording just before I start stream to see if everything works fine. Let me try out to see for myself if the sound okay, all right. Well, Explorer videos. Oh, now it's good. Oh, thanks. It's always a little bit of a delay. Thank you very much for pointing it out. Should give you Marius Apulskis. I hope I didn't butcher your name. But as I alluded to last week and during the live stream, we went over the simple design guidelines that we as designers use. right? I'm definitely not a copywriter, so please do understand that. And what we use as a designer, we use a system. It's a 12-column system that allows us to create a nice layout grid, and you can play around with how it looks and feels. Then we use an 8-pixel grid to space everything out. That will make it very easy to have a consistent spacing. The reason for 8 pixels is because it's dividable by most viewport sizes. For instance, 9020 by the width. Let's see. I've never done this. I have only read about this. If you divide by 8, 240 times 8, it's in there. So and we also have 140, and then it's also divisible by 8. So that's why people recommend it. Besides the spacing of 8 pixels, we also have some basic knowledge on adding border radius and how to create buttons. Then we created a design system. Today I want to go over how we can utilize those systems. So when you open up Figma, I have already put a file in the chat, but there's also a file in the description. I can't zoom in the interface, unfortunately. However, what I do, I press A, and on the sidebar you see some options available. You see wireframe and desktop. I usually just press wireframe, and there you have your wireframe in there. Then you can go to layout grid, and when you hit the plus symbol, it will automatically create a grid of 10 pixels. But I want to switch that to columns, and then to 12 columns. Let's see. And I would like to have a margin of 100 pixels on both sides, and the gutter should be something like 16, if I remember correctly. Yeah, maybe the margins can even be smaller. 120 that we have 1200 of spacing size used. So if we put this together, it's a nice 1200 pixels of width. And then we have our basic setup. So we can add rectangles by pressing R, and then just draw a rectangle. As you can see, it will snap a little bit to the column, which make it very easy to create a certain kind of grid, however you would like or want. So for instance, if we want a menu, it should be for the full width of at least 12 columns, and then we'll stay into your content. You can also opt to go a little bit wider so that it's full width. We can drag it manually. You can also set it on the right hand side if you have some layout settings, but I don't like to use them immediately. So you can do something like this, and then we have a placeholder. Usually the height is 50 pixels. Wow, it's a little bit too tall. And there we have our menu bar. When you press O, it will create an ellipse for you, or an oval. You can drag that everywhere. Let's make it white that we can see it on top of this one. And make it stand to the side. So the reason why we give it 120 pixels of margin is because we have a padding of 20 pixels on both sides, and 100 margin to give a little bit more breathing room on larger displays. This is an easy way to start with using the grid. Now when we have a oval, we can make it a little bit smaller, and we would like to have some spacing on the top. I usually do something like 8, because we're using the 8 grid system. Or maybe you would like something smaller. You can also do whatever you want, of course. Like 4 pixels, then it's more to the top. And if we look at what I did here, is that we also add Mark Szymanski and what kind of role he's in. And let's see, we can add it in here as well. We press T and we press mark. I find this last name very hard to read, so I hope I don't butcher it. Semensky, hard to write, so I hope this is right. And we would like to align this to the center of the circle, then it looks nice. And then put it, I press shift arrow to the right to give it 10 pixels of spacing, and then press 2 times to the left so it is 8 pixels of spacing. That's usually how I do it. If you have an easier way to do so, please let me know. Let's see, and we can make this one even smaller. I think the name needs to be bolder, so let's make it big. Maybe 16 is a little bit too much. So that's basically design, right? You play around a little bit with the spacing you like. And I think this works. WordPress, darker. Now, I want some spacing between the first text and the second text, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe 4 pixels will work. Then we can group them together by pressing Ctrl G, and we align them in the center so it looks nice. And we group them together as well. There we have our header. I don't like the spacing. I think this is a little bit too little. And it's always a little bit of preference what you like or what you don't like. But this feels very cluttered if you ask me. There's a lot going on. It is a little space, even when we turn off the grid. So if we turn off the grid by pressing the eye, you poke them in the eye, and there can be a little bit more spacing. So let's try another 8, so there's 16 pixels from the top. And let's add some spacing to the bottom as well. See, this feels more balanced. Doesn't feel cluttered. Maybe a little bit still, a little bit cluttered. I like a lot of white space. So what we can do is add a little bit of space even still, 10, and then 2 upwards. And then we can, so it's 24 pixels on both sides. What we can do, instead of trying to estimate how high this needs to be, can grab those 2, group them together, and in here, in layout, you press this symbol, and it will use auto layout. It's similar to Flexbox, and we can say, all right, I want the spacing from the top and bottom to be 24 instead of 21, so it will be equally spaced. The left hand side should be 120, and inside there should be no spacing. And as you can see, there's already a little bit more piece going on, if you ask me. And yeah, that's how I create those kind of things. Just trying to experiment with how design works, and we can go even further if you want to add a button. We add a rectangle, pressing R. And as you can see, I can just draw a rectangle and just draw it anywhere. So you have freedom in designing your website, and you're not restricted to what the final result gives you. And if you're a little bit of a developer, the structure is nice, but this gives you more freedom to add a little bit of highlights as well. For instance, I want a big circle in here, and the big circle should be a gradient. Let's add a little bit of gradient. In here. So now it looks a little bit more alive. Whoa, I pressed the wrong button. So there we go. And for this one, we can turn off that color. And for the ellipse, we need to have a different color. So let's add a little bit of red. And by doing this, you're able to just create and try out, because that's design if you ask me, try out how things work and how things look, and try to add a little bit spacing between each section, and how more space you will give it, how fancier it will look. So that's a very good tip always to use. And if we add a rectangle, we can create a button out of it. Now I don't like that this is tagged, so what we can do is press the frame where we set the outer layout, and instead of going from top to bottom, so a flex content row, we can make it horizontal, and there it is. Now it's horizontal. We can move the group upwards, and the rectangle downwards, and now it's on the right side. And if we press twice, it will do similar to Flexbox, align it with space between, or evenly. I don't know what the official name is, but that way you can utilize also the things you're used to as a developer with developing the websites. And that's how I basically build up every page. Now we want this to be a button, so we press T and write some text. Let's see. I have lost the text. Where's the text? Oh, this should be grouped first. Now it's in there. And then we press our outer layout again to create a button. But instead of space between, this will be centered. There's a lot of spacing going on, so we can remove the spacing by going in here and setting it to 0. I see that the rectangle isn't representing a button, so I usually delete it and just change the frame, add a color to it, like red again, and add some spacing to top and bottom, and the left and right hand side. This should be hog contents. That means it will fill the content. This also needs to hog the contents. And I like my left and right side to be a little bit twice as big compared to the top and bottom. And there we have our basic structure, button, and a kind of the logo and the name. So I hope this will make you understand how to create a simple design for a page, and then when you go further, you can create something like this, and then you have designed everything. And that's how you can continue. I hope I did explain it a little bit better. But yeah, that's how I approach those things. Let's see. So there are not a lot of people watching, which is fine. Yeah, now you have a slight understanding on how you can move forward with designing this kind of things. And I hope that helps. Now let's continue on. Not with this. This is his website. He has it now online. I really recommend looking at his YouTube channel, because he was also talking about how he does the technical stuff, like how he did the current age, how he set up the terms, and how to show dynamically that he is live during on YouTube. And they're all fun to watch on how he created his website on the technical side. So I highly recommend looking at that one. Furthermore, Tony from the Greenshift group has built a website, and he asks if this is a work of progress, but would like some help with criticizing the site. And let's have a look. So this is it. At least the cookies are in there, so that's very important. I think all of it is a little bit all over the place. So let's try to do something similar that Refactor UI does. Let's open up a new design. file and go to plugins and have one of my favorite ones. Plugins and widget, HTML to design. It was there. And run it. And when we press import, it will import the sign to the site. 7 free import left. Well, that's good enough. And resets tomorrow. Yeah. So it won't import everything. Some things are not available. So I didn't do a very good job with importing. Let's see. 50. Ctrl-Shift-S, capture full page. That's a nice thing when you're using Edge. It also has a built-in screenshot kind of thing. Let's get that in real quick. So what are the things that I would approve in here? Your trusted web developer in Mallorca. I have today read about so Align Disease Center, that will help already. I read today that there's something called a story brand, and with it you should have some things in there. Let's see, it's story brand by Dan Miller. Story brand. Hi Tony, how are you? Nice that you're looking. I'm working on it as we speak. Awesome. Yeah, it's a work in progress, you also already mentioned. So this is a story brand framework, and it helps you understand how you could set up your text for your website and how you can tell your story to the customers. And there are a few principles that are very good to know. Let's see, I don't have it by heart. Oh, but it says it all on here as well. So, who does your customer want to become? I don't think this represents it very well. It boils down to you need to speak about to your customers. So, what are the results they want? And you being a trusted web developer, that's nice, but everybody can say that they are a trusted web developer. So what makes you unique? Yeah, the unique capabilities you have is maybe the network, or you also state that you have a web designer you work with. So you can say that you have the all-in-one solution for creating websites. You do the technical part, and other people do the design part and the marketing part, and maybe also the text writing part. Refresh the page and delete the cache. Right. We can just go private. In private browser. There we go. I have a very big screen, by the way, so maybe this doesn't look the best. So, your trusted web developer in Mallorca. I do like the scenery. It tells a little bit of a story that you're a Mallorcan developer. Having an innovation tag in here and an innovation tag in there, I don't know if if that makes sense. Let's see. 540. So, and you would like people to request a quote and get in touch. So that's also already a little bit difficult to understand. You have 2 call to actions. I will make it 1, and maybe also try to understand what the people. Top left. Disinfect the logo. Yeah, nice. It looks very clean. Innovation tag logo. What I suggest, Tony, is to even JetGTP has one. by the way. Let's see. Because I'm not a copywriter myself, but I do follow what the trends are right now. Let's see. To log in. So let's do it like this. You will look at my stupid face trying to type in my password with my auto password thingy and then fill in my credentials. Let's see. Authenticator. And let's type in OpenAI. So when creating a website, I think the content is one of the most important things to start with. The reason being that it helps you to understand how the message comes across and what kind of design things you need and what kind of information you need in there. So what I highly suggest is try to type everything out to see, all right, what is the thing we're going to tell and convince our people? And this GPT, it's called Brand Story Generator. It will help you with creating a content. Usually I find it very difficult to create one myself, so I'm not a content writer, but what you can do is fill in your website and it will browse to it and it will create a story brand for you. Business seeking cutting edge technology solutions to innovate and stay ahead of the competition. So that's the person coming to your website. They are struggling with comprehensive and reliable and customizable technical solutions and leading to missed opportunities and stagnant growth. So I already see that it is missing that you're saying here that you're a web developer. So let's copy in the about me kind of thing. And let's retry, because I don't think this is very valuable. Here we go. So they struggle to find a developer who can deliver both beautiful design and robust functionality, especially from complex projects like membership platforms. Wow. Spans the first range of WordPress projects, from elegant tailored small business to complex large-scale membership platforms. I think this comes across pretty well with what you have written in your about section. The struggles they have is finding someone who can deliver a design and robust functionality. Attorney works closely with clients to understand their business goals, providing a detailed project plan that covers everything from initial design concepts. This is done by an external, I guess, to final deployment. And in here we have a landing page ID, transform your business with a custom website, and there should be a showcase portfolio. So this can give you some idea how you can do the rest. Design part lacks in me. Yeah, it's just, it doesn't matter that much, right? Design is always subjective, but you can already try to see from a AI generated kind of thing how you can translate that with visuals, but also with other things to a website. So transform your business with a custom website. Is that something your customers would like to have? And if not, you can iterate on this as well. You can say, all right, this is something that everybody could say, but what will be the distinction of you? Also, can you click on web design? Yes, I can click on web design. There we go. I think maybe we could put it on the homepage. Websites tailored to your brand. I think this is, yeah, a part of it could be on your website. The text is not very UX-ish because it's all centered and people prefer to read from left to right. And there was also some kind of study, I don't know by heart, but it states that you want a, let's see, width, max width of 80 characters. So the text should be at max 80 characters wide. And as you can see, then it will not fill up the entire page. So this is the max width that people are willing to read on the lengthiest kind of width. So keep that in mind when developing the website. But to go back, this kind of thing gives you an idea on what you can put there. You can iterate also on the hero section. So create detailed sections. I don't know if this works, but we're gonna see. Create detailed sections for the home page. And there we go. We have some kind of flow that we can use to incorporate, because in the web, I basically described that. Yeah. Then you can try to put in, Tony, then you can try put in the essentials that are, that you offer, and put them in the on the front page. The about me isn't the most important thing. People that are visiting your website are, sorry to say, not directly interested in you. They're interested into a specific outcome. They come to your website because they saw a LinkedIn posts or via local event. So there's a way that they have come to your website, and they immediately want to know, who are you and what do you provide? So can you solve my problem is the first question they will ask. And that's also what's being said in the story brand kind of thing. And then you need to convince them that you can fix their pain points. So what are the pain points people would have if they come to you for a website? Would the pain point be that they have, for example, a lovely design, but they can't translate a design to a website? Oh, darn. I think something is eating up my bandwidth. So. Suddenly things stop working. But it should be fine, because the rest of the stream will go on, if I remember correctly. Suddenly everything is a little bit slow. Let's see.